In 1901, a group of sponge divers searching the waters near a small Greek island made a discovery that would completely rewrite what we thought we knew about ancient technology. At first, it looked like an ordinary shipwreck, but hidden among the debris was something extraordinary. The island was called Antikythera, located between mainland Greece and the island of Crete. The waters around it were deep and dangerous, filled with sharp rocks and powerful currents. Few ships passed through this area, and even fewer divers explored its depths. While diving along the seabed, one of the divers noticed something unusual lying among the rocks. Scattered across the ocean floor were statues, pieces of pottery, and fragments of ancient cargo that had been resting underwater for centuries. The diver quickly returned to the surface and told the rest of the crew what he had seen. Soon the entire team began exploring the wreck more carefully. Realizing they had stumbled upon something much larger than they first imagined, archaeologists were soon called to investigate the discovery. Divers began bringing objects to the surface one by one, carefully lifting statues and artifacts that had been buried beneath the sea for nearly 2,000 years. Marble statues of Greek gods emerged from the water, their surfaces covered in coral and sea growth. Bronze sculptures followed, along with pottery, jewelry, and fragments of ancient tools. The shipwreck appeared to be a merchant vessel that had sunk sometime around the 1st century BCE. Its cargo suggested it had been transporting valuable goods across the Mediterranean when disaster struck. For archaeologists, the discovery was already remarkable, but among the statues and treasures, one object looked completely different from everything else. It was a strange lump of corroded bronze and wood. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a broken piece of machinery that had been damaged by centuries underwater. For a while, the object was ignored. Compared to the beautiful statues being recovered from the wreck, the corroded fragments seemed unimportant. But when scientists began cleaning the artifact in a laboratory, they noticed something that made them stop immediately. Inside the corroded metal were tiny bronze gears. Not just a few gears, but dozens of them, all arranged in a complex mechanical structure. The gears were incredibly precise. Each one had carefully cut teeth, designed to interlock perfectly with the others. To modern scientists, the mechanism looked strangely familiar. It resembled the internal machinery of a clock. But there was a major problem with that idea. According to everything historians believed at the time, mechanical devices this advanced did not exist in the ancient world. Clocks with complex gears would not appear in Europe until more than 1,000 years later, during the medieval period. Yet this mysterious mechanism had been sitting inside a shipwreck dated to around 100 BCE. That meant the device was more than 2,000 years old. Researchers began to realize they had discovered something completely unexpected. This was not just a simple machine. The more scientists studied the artifact, the more complicated it appeared. The device contained more than 30 bronze gears, all carefully arranged to move together in precise patterns. Some gears were connected to small rotating plates, while others were linked through intricate mechanical systems. Even more surprising were the inscriptions found on parts of the device. Tiny Greek letters were carved into the metal surfaces, suggesting the machine had instructions or labels explaining how it worked. Slowly, researchers began to understand what they were looking at. This was not simply a machine, it was a device designed to calculate something. And what it calculated would turn out to be one of the most astonishing achievements of the ancient world. At first, researchers could not fully understand the purpose of the mysterious device. The gears were extremely complex, and many pieces had been damaged by centuries underwater. But scientists knew one thing for certain: this was not a simple tool. Over time, more fragments of the mechanism were discovered among the artifacts recovered from the shipwreck. These additional pieces revealed even more gears hidden within the structure, suggesting the device had once been far larger and more sophisticated. As scientists began reconstructing the fragments, a surprising pattern started to appear. The gears were arranged in a way that suggested the device was designed to track cycles, but not just any cycles. The patterns seemed to match astronomical movements, specifically the movements of the sun, the moon, and possibly even planets. If this interpretation was correct, the device might have been used to predict astronomical events. This idea seemed almost impossible at first. How could a mechanical device from ancient Greece track the movements of celestial bodies? But the more researchers studied the mechanism, the more the evidence pointed toward exactly that conclusion. The gears appeared to represent mathematical ratios used in ancient astronomy. When one gear turned, it caused others to rotate at different speeds, reproducing the natural cycles observed in the sky. By rotating a handle on the side of the device, the user could simulate the passage of time. As the gears moved, the device would display astronomical information on several circular dials. These dials likely showed the positions of the sun and the moon in the zodiac. One dial may have tracked the phases of the moon, showing whether it was new, full, or somewhere in between. Another dial appeared to track long astronomical cycles known to ancient Greek astronomers. One of the most remarkable discoveries involved a cycle known as the Metonic cycle. The Metonic cycle describes a period of 19 years, after which the phases of the moon repeat on the same days of the solar year. Ancient astronomers used this cycle to improve calendars and predict lunar events. The Antikythera mechanism appears to have been designed to track this exact cycle using its gear system. Another dial may have tracked an even more complex cycle known as the Saros cycle. The Saros cycle lasts approximately 18 years and can be used to predict solar and lunar eclipses. If the mechanism truly tracked the Saros cycle, it means the device could actually predict eclipses. In other words, ancient users of the device might have been able to know when the sun or moon would suddenly darken in the sky. For people living more than 2,000 years ago, this ability would have seemed almost magical. Yet the Antikythera mechanism may have allowed ancient scientists to do exactly that. Even more surprising was the precision of the gears themselves. Each gear had been carefully crafted using advanced metalworking techniques. The level of precision suggested that the builders of the device possessed extraordinary engineering knowledge. This discovery shocked historians, because nothing like the Antikythera mechanism was believed to exist anywhere else in the ancient world. As scientists continued studying the Antikythera mechanism, one question became impossible to ignore. If ancient engineers were capable of building such a complex machine, why were no other devices like it ever discovered? The mechanism seemed far too advanced to be the first of its kind. Technology rarely appears suddenly without earlier versions leading up to it. Most inventions develop gradually over time, becoming more sophisticated through generations of experimentation. Yet the Antikythera mechanism appeared fully developed, almost as if it represented the final stage of a technology that had already been perfected. Some historians believe the device may have been built by followers of the famous Greek mathematician Archimedes. Archimedes lived in the 3rd century BCE and was known for designing incredible machines far ahead of his time. Ancient writers even described mechanical devices created by Archimedes that could model movements of the sun, moon, and planets. If those descriptions were accurate, the Antikythera mechanism might be related to those lost inventions. Unfortunately, almost all of Archimedes' mechanical creations were destroyed during wars or lost over time. Another theory suggests the mechanism may have been built by ancient Greek astronomers working in the city of Rhodes. Rhodes was one of the most important scientific centers in the ancient world. Astronomers on the island were famous for studying celestial movements and developing advanced mathematical models of the cosmos. If a group of scholars there combined astronomy with engineering, they might have produced a device like the Antikythera mechanism. Yet even this theory raises more questions than answers. Why did this technology disappear for nearly 2,000 years? After the fall of ancient Greece and later the Roman Empire, much scientific knowledge was lost or forgotten. Libraries were destroyed, scholars scattered, and entire traditions of research vanished. It is possible that devices like the Antikythera mechanism once existed in greater numbers, but if they did, none have survived to the present day. For centuries, humanity may have unknowingly forgotten one of the most advanced inventions of the ancient world. Today, scientists continue studying the fragments recovered from the shipwreck. Modern imaging technology has revealed details that were invisible to earlier researchers. Using X-ray scans, scientists have been able to see hidden gears and inscriptions buried deep inside the corroded metal. Each new discovery reveals more about how the mysterious machine once worked. Yet many questions remain unanswered. We still do not know exactly who built the Antikythera mechanism. We do not know how many similar machines may have once existed, and we do not know why this remarkable technology disappeared for nearly 2,000 years. But one thing is certain: somewhere in the ancient world, long before modern computers, someone built a machine capable of predicting the movements of the cosmos.